Michelle Obama getting some attention over the weekend during a commencement address at Alabama's Tuskegee University. During that speech, the First Lady focused on how race has affected her life and her husband's life.
But as potentially the first African-American First Lady, I was also the focus of another set of questions and speculations, conversations sometimes rooted in the fears and misperceptions of others. We've both felt the sting of those daily slights throughout our entire lives. The folks who crossed the street in fear of their safety, the clerks who kept a close eye on us in all those department stores, the people at formal events who assumed we were the help.
Deneen Borelli is the outreach director at Freedom Works and a Fox News contributor. Richard Fowler is the host of the Richard Fowler Radio Show. Welcome to you both. Deneen, what's your reaction to what she said there?
Martha, listen, I have always been proud of my country, unlike Michelle Obama, because I believe America is an exceptional country. And I also think this was a wasted opportunity for Michelle Obama, because she could have talked about how she and how President Obama went from Chicago to Ivy League schools to the White House. An absolute wasted opportunity. Instead of telling these individuals, these young minds, these young people, that if I can do it, you can do it too.
Richard, initial reaction here?
Well, I think the First Lady's words were very eloquent, but I think there's parts that Deneen is missing. If you listen to the whole entire speech, she does talk about the ideal that even though we've been through all this, we've still made it, and you can also make it too. That's the whole ending of the speech. But to talk about the parts of race in particular that she focuses on in this speech, I think it's just her personal narrative, and you can't knock her personal narrative or take away from her personal narrative at all. And that's how she feels, and I think she's right to feel that way.
All right, I want to play one more soundbite from this, and then we're also going to play a bit of Denzel Washington at the commencement address that he did as well. Let's play both of these.
Those who have questioned our intelligence, our honesty, even our love of this country. And I know that these little indignities are obviously nothing compared to what folks across the country are dealing with every single day. Those nagging worries that you're going to get stopped or pulled over for absolutely no reason. The fear that your job application will be overlooked because of the way your name sounds.
God first in everything you do. Everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. I've been directed. I've been corrected. I've kept God in my life, and it's kept me humble. I didn't always stick with him, but he always stuck with me. So stick with him in everything you do.
Very interesting, both of those messages. Deneen, what does that contrast say to you?
That's a huge contrast. Denzel Washington grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, not too far from where I live, and he is a huge success story. I didn't hear him say anything about race baiting like Michelle did during her speech. And Richard, I did read her entire speech. This is identity politics. She's being very divisive, bringing up race on all aspects, on all angles. And again, this was a missed opportunity for her to talk about how America is an exceptional country. You and I are on national television, Richard. I'm sure that's through hard work and not because of any other reason.
Richard.
No, there's no question. I don't think Michelle Obama is saying it's not because of our hard work and our dedication. I think what she's speaking to is her own personal narrative. And Deneen, she has the right to do that, whether you like it or not, whether you call it race baiting or not. She has the right to. She has the right to do that, and I thought she did it very well in this speech at Tuskegee University.
Yeah, I mean, there's such different messages. She's, she's saying, talking about herself, her experience, what has come at her, the difficulties that she's had. Denzel Washington saying it's not about me. He's like, I learned it wasn't about me. It was about all the people throughout my whole life who prayed for me and who helped me to get where I was, and that it was all about God. Very different.
No, it is very different. And I've had hundreds of people who helped me.
I want to let Richard get in here, Deneen, because I don't have a lot of time, and I just wanted his thoughts.
Well, listen, I think, clearly Denzel's, the sliver of Denzel's speech talks about it is about God, and it's about, how we can, use him as an inspiration to live. And I think those are very, very wise words. In Michelle's speech, she talked about how it is to be, mom in chief, and that's her #1 responsibility, to make sure her girls can achieve the American dream. So I think there is some correlation between the two speeches here. I think we pointed out the parts where she's sort of clearly talked about the racial issues that she's dealt with, but doesn't speak to the entirety of her speech at Tuskegee University.
All right. Quick last thought,
Sure.
Deneen.
I just think it's propaganda, Martha, and it's a shame that the opportunity was wasted, because she could have talked about hope and telling these young individuals to follow their dreams, and if I can do it, you can do it too, because America is an exceptional country.
Well, it's that season, and it's always interesting to look at the messages these people are giving when they're given that golden opportunity to speak to these young minds as they're about to head out into the mature world and to take it from college. So thank you very much, Richard and Deneen.
Thanks, Martha.
Good to see you both.